hello baseball fans. Anthony with BBSN, and we are back with our Status Pro Advanced Game of the Week. And for Week 11, in a game played on 6/13/76, we have Terrific Tom Seaver and the New York Mets trekking across the country to visit the San Francisco Giants in a game at Candlestick Park. And in this game played on June 13th, 1976, the Mets prevailed 4-1 behind Seaver. They got 8 hits, no errors. The Giants, 5 hits to go with their 1 run, and again, no errors there. And opposing Seaver on the mound for the Giants today will be Jim Barr. And some interesting facts in this game that I find interesting concerning a couple of pitchers that are in the Giants bullpen that we'll get to as we go. But first, our starting lineups. For the visiting Mets, Bud Harrelson leads off at shortstop, Felix Millan at second base. John Milner will be in left field. Dave Kingman, a clouder and out, a prodigious home run hitter that was not very prodigious in getting on base via other means. Struck out quite a bit. Ed Kranepool will be at first, Del Unser in center, Wayne Garrett at third, Jerry Grody behind the plate, and of course Tom Seaver on the mound. For the homestanding Giants, Larry Herndon leads off in center field, Darrell Thomas at second, Bobby Mercer after his I don't want to say failed, but Bobby Mercer, when he showed up in New York, he was tagged unfairly with the mantle of, well, no pun intended, the mantle of being the next Mickey Mantle. A very unfair comparison, and one that he was never going to live up to, but he is now hoping to resurrect his career in the Bay. Batting cleanup for the Giants, Gary Matthews, Willie Montanez at first, Chris Spire at short, Ken Reitz at third, Dave Rader behind the plate, and again Jim Barr on the mound. So let's get going, and Bud Harrelson set to lead it off for the visiting Mets. Seaver, we did need to roll our pitching check, by the way, first. So in Candlestick Park, 11 to 14 would be a +2, 15 to 18 a +1, and 81 or up would be bad in terms of pitching control. So first of all, we will go with Seaver, who is a 4-7 versus left and righties, and he gets a 83. So for Seaver, he's going to be adjusted down 1 from a 4-7 to a 2-6 against lefties and righties both. So does not have his best stuff today. And the hometown pitcher, Jim Barr, 87, it's going to be even worse for him as Barr. He is 2-8 and a 4-7 against left and rights respectively. So that adjustment is going to take him down 2. So against left-handers, he'll go from a 2-8 to a 4-7 and a 2-5 against right-handers. So neither pitcher has their best stuff, which does not bode well for long-term existence in this game. So let's get started. And again, first batter up for the Mets, Bud Harrelson. And in just a second here, going to make a couple of changes to my setup. Alrighty. Alright, we are set to go. Harrelson up, and here comes a pitch from Barr. And 6, Harrelson, a switch hitter, batting left-handed. And that's going to be off of Barr's card. 46 against the switch hitting Harrelson is going to be an out. And again on the green die 12, if you've not watched these games previously, a roll of 1 is clutch batting or clutch defense check. And 11 or 12 would be an error check after the result of a play. As it stands, that is a ground out for Harrelson down to Spire, 1 down. Next up, Felix Millan, and the Mets second baseman going to come off of Millan's card, 46 versus the right-hander, and that is going to be hit by pitch. So Millan, we've had a rash of those the last couple of games here. He gets plunked. And the first reduction point for Jim Barr. Jim Barr's fatigue is 14, Seaver's is 15. John Milner, the batter. And coming off of Milner's card, 18 against the right-hander. And that's going to be a double into the center field gap. And coming around third base, is he going to try and score? As Mian is a D and a 81 on the faxed action card. That is going to be a challenge play. So we'll flip another card. And 64 on the challenge. So 64 is going to go to the outfield throwing arm and in center field for the Giants. Larry Herndon has a cannon. He's got a 5. So 64, and that is going to result 64 actually is going to result in the batter being held at third base. The one thing in the Status Pro Advanced that's taken a little bit of time to get used to is the new base runner advancement chart. But second, third for Dave Kingman, and again, cloudering out here, coming off of Kingman's card, 41. Kingman, a big swing and nothing but air. So as predicted, Kingman, he's either going to hit it a mile or it's going to end up in the catcher's glove, 2 down. And Ed Kranepool, the batter now. And Kranepool against the right-hander. This is going to come off of Barr's card. That'll be an out. And Kranepool, he's going to ground that back to the pitcher. Barr's going to flip it over 1-3 on the putout. So a hit and a hit batter. But nothing doing for the Mets as they go down in the top of the first. No score as Larry Herndon set to lead it off against Seaver. And again, Seaver, 2-6 against lefties and righties. Here comes a pitch, and 72 off of Herndon's card against the right-hander will be an out. And Herndon, that's going to be a ground ball in front of the plate, and springing out from his position is Grody. Fires that to first just to get Herndon. And Darryl Thomas, the batter now, the Giants' second baseman. 1976, Thomas, not known for his offensive prowess, hit .232. And 7 will be off of Thomas's card. This will be an error check. And the left-handed hitting Thomas, who is a switch hitter, is going to ground that down to third base. And on third base is Wayne Garrett, who is a 6. And he's going to get to it, make the play. 5-3 on the putout, 2 away. And that brings up Bobby Mercer. Again, unfairly tagged with the next Mickey Mantle. 64, and that's coming off of Mercer's card against the right-hander. That's going to be an out, and again, an error check. So for Mercer, ground ball down to shortstop, and it's short for the Mets. But Harrelson is a 5, and Harrelson bobbles it, but recovers, makes the throw across the diamond. And 3 up, 3 down go the Giants. We are through 1. No score in this one between Seaver and the Mets and Jim Barr and San Francisco. Leading off the bottom or top of the second for the Mets will be center fielder Del Unser, coming off of his card, 35 against the right-hander, and that's a big cut and nothing but air. We'll side order a Chili con queso, heavy on the K for Unser, 1 down. Jim Barr gets the ball, gets the sign, looks into Wayne Garrett. Here comes the pitch. And coming off of Barr's or Garrett's card, 32, and 32 is going to be a base on ball, so first walk of the day by Barr to go along with a hit batter. Jerry Grody up now. And Grody, he is a hit and run of 2. And not going to do that. We'll just play it straight up. Here comes a pitch, and 8 coming off of Grody's card, 27 against the right-hander. And Grody gets into that one, and that is into the gap in left center field. So let's see now if Garrett can score. He is a C. So double off batter's card, 45 and a C, and he's going to be held at third base. So now the Mets here in the second inning again have runners on second, third. And Barr off to a rough start. Seaver is the batter. and not going to try a sacrifice. He'll try and help his own cause right here. Comes the pitch, and Barr coming off of Seaver's card 35. We know what that is. Swing and a miss. So 2 down and back to the top of the order. And the Mets having chances early here, not able to capitalize on them as Bud Harrelson will hit. And that is going to be 7, and against the switch hitting Harrelson, that's going to be off of Barr's card, so it'll be a clutch defense result. And Harrelson, that is going to be a ground ball down to first. So again, we'll flip the card for the clutch defense check. And at first base for the Giants, Willie Montanez is a 4. So 58 against a 4, and that is going to be off of the A chart. And the result of G3X, and he's going to catch lead runner off base with 2 outs. He's just going to take it to the bag himself, however, so side is retired. And again, a couple of base runners for the Mets, but no runs to show for it. They leave 2 in scoring position. We head to the bottom of the second inning. No score in this one as Gary Matthews set to lead it off for the Giants. Here comes a pitch. No clutch batting since there's nobody on base. And against the right-hander, Matthews, he gets into that. The ground ball down to shortstop. So Seaver, 4 up, 4 down as Harrelson takes care of Matthews. And Willie Montanez, first baseman up. 7 going to be off Montanez's card. And Montanez has the first hit for the Giants as he drives that into the gap in right center field. 1 hops the wall, and he's into second base just ahead of the throw. So the Mets now, and Seaver facing a runner in scoring position, and Giant shortstop Chris Spire will be the batter. Here comes a pitch off of Spire's card, 33 and a possible error check. 33 though, strikeout. So Tom Terrific dials up a little extra heat and comes across the letter. Spire can't catch up with it. 2 down as lead runner Montanez leads off Ken Reitz. Here comes a pitch off of Reitz's card, and 55, that's going to be an out. So Seaver gets a runner in scoring position, but gets out of the inning, and that's a harmless fly ball into left field. John Miller takes that. So we head to the top of the third inning in this one. No score, and coming up for the Mets will be Felix Millan. And Millan in 1976 had a .282 average, a good offensive year for him. Here comes the pitch. 6 coming off of Barr's card, and 13. That is going to be a base hit into left field. So Barr has had a runner in every inning thus far and has been in trouble in both the first and the second. Millan takes his lead. Milner the batter, and Milner, here comes the pitch. Off of Milner's card, 73, that's going to be an out as Milner, shallow fly ball into left field. Coming in to take that is Gary Matthews, so 1 down. And again, Dave King Kong Kingman up. Took a big rip in the first inning and came up empty. Here comes a pitch off of Kong's card again, and another big rip, and another strikeout is Kingman, King Kong. Can't catch up with the high heat from Barr. He goes down swinging, 2 away. And that's what you get with Dave Kingman. Cloudering out. Here comes a pitch from Barr, 47 against the left-hander. That's going to come off of Barr's card, and 47 will be an out. Crane pull. It's a fly ball to deep right field, and going back to the track to pull that in with his back against the wall, it's going to be Bobby Mercer. And once again, despite giving up a leadoff single, Barr pitches his way out of it. We head to the bottom of the third inning. No score in this one. Dave Rader coming up against Seaver. Here comes a pitch from Seaver. And against Seaver with his adjustment is a 2-6 against both righties and lefties. This comes off Seaver's card. And that's going to be a fly ball to deep center field. Back to the track for that, but pulling it in easily is Del Unser, 1 down. Seaver's counterpart Jim Barr up now. And Barr actually not a terrible hitting pitcher. He's going to still strike out a ton. So here comes a pitch off of Seaver's card 62. That's going to be an out. As Barr, a fly ball to shallow center field. So second put out of the inning out there for Del Unser. Back to the top of the order for the Giants. 2 outs, nobody on. Larry Herndon, the hitter. Herndon in the first inning chopped one off the plate and was thrown out by the Giant or the Mets catcher Jerry Grody. And coming off of Herndon's card, 54 against the right-hander. That's going to be a ground ball right back to Seaver. Scoops it up, flips it over to first base, and second 3 up, 3 down inning of the day for Seaver as we head to the top of the fourth. No score in this one as center fielder Del Unser leads it off for the Mets. Unser 2 putouts in the last inning, 35. This will be a potential error check after the result, but Unser strikes out. And second time Barr has fanned him. So 1 quick out for Barr and the Giants. Wayne Garrett up, the Mets third baseman. Walked and got to third in his first plate appearance. And 32 coming off of Barr's card, and that's going to be against the left-hander. That'll be a strikeout. So Barr, he has 6 strikeouts through 3 2/3 innings thus far. Jerry Grody, the batter. Mets catcher digs in, takes his practice hacks. Here comes a pitch, and coming off of Grody's card against the right-hander, 24, and Grody. He's going to get all of that one, knock that off the wall on a hop. And for Grody, that is his second double of the day. He had one back in the second as well. So the Mets hoping for a little 2-out magic here, but the pitcher spot is up next. And with no score, we're not going to pinch hit this early. So Seaver going to have to help himself coming off of Seaver's card, and no help there. Swing and a miss. Seaver goes down swinging. So a hit for the Mets, but Barr strikes out the side, and we are through 3 1/2, heading to the bottom of the fourth inning. Still no score in this one. And leading it off for the Giants is Daryl Thomas. Both pitchers doing quite well, despite the fact that they both had reductions in our pregame stuff check. So Daryl Thomas up. Thomas also played with these same Mets. Here comes a pitch, and it's going to come off of Seaver's card. 36 against the switch-hitting Thomas, and 36 will be a strikeout. So Seaver comes in tight on the hands with a slider. Thomas can't touch it, and 1 down. And Bobby Mercer up now for the Giants. Mercer grounded out to shortstop his first time up, and the pitch, 5, going to be off of Seaver's card. 54 against the left-handed hitting Mercer. And would have been a wild pitch check. Nobody on, will be an out as Mercer flies out to right field. So 2 down as Kingman, not super graceful out there, but he gets the job done. And that brings up Gary Matthews, the Seaver, rolling along quite nicely thus far, and be a clutch defense check. And 88 is not going to be a good outcome as Matthews is pop fly to shortstop, so F6 and 88 on the clutch defense chart. At shortstop for the Mets is Harrelson. He is a 2. So that's going to result in a result off of the table B. And not going to be able to get to that shallow pop fly. That falls in for a bloop single. So the Giants have a 2-out single from Gary Matthews. Their second hit of the day, and that brings up Willie Montanez. Montanez double back in the second inning. Here comes the pitch, and off of Montanez's card, 52. Big cut at that, but it's going to be a ground ball down to third. Garrett up with that over to first, and side is retired. So a hit for the Giants. They leave 1. We head to the top of the 5th inning. This one cruising along, no score. As Jim Barr set to face Bud Harrelson, the Mets shortstop. And 77, that is going to be an out off of Harrelson's card as he grounds that down to shortstop. Chris Spire with the putout. And Felix Mion, the Mets second baseman up. He has been hit by a pitch and singled, so been on base both times. 6, and this will come off of Barr's card, and Mion, the right-handed hitter, is going to ground that right back to Barr, flips it over to first base, and gloved there by Montanez. 2 quick outs for the Giants as John Milner comes up. Milner Left fielder for the Mets doubled in the first inning, flied out to center field in the third. Here comes a pitch, and 52 coming off of Milner's card. That's going to be a out as he gets into that with a big swing, but a harmless ground ball. Down to second base, and picking that up on 2 hops. And flipping it over to first is Thomas, so 4-3, and Barr has his first 3-up, 3-down inning as the Mets retired in the 5th. Still no score in this one. Chris Spire leading things off in the 5th for the Giants. And coming off of Seaver's card, that's going to be an out. Spire grounds it down to second base. So Felix Mion, quick flip over to Cranepool, 1 down. Ken Reitz up, Giants third baseman. Pitch from Seaver, and 82 going to come off of Reitz's card, but that's going to be an out as Reitz pops that up behind home plate, and circling under that is Jerry Grody. F2 on the putout, and 2 away as Dave Radar, the Giants catcher, steps up. Rader flew out to center field his first time up. Here comes a pitch off of Seaver's card, 51 against the lefty, and that's going to be a walk. So Seaver, 2 out base on balls. And that is the 3rd point towards his stamina. Still in good shape there, as his counterpart Jim Barr will be the hitter. And 6, that's going to come off of Seaver's card, and 22 against the right-hander. That's going to be a swing and a miss, so overpowers Barr. And the walk is wasted. We are through 5 innings. This one is sailing along at a good pace. No score. As in the top of the 6th inning, Kingman struck out twice. Going to lead this off for the Mets. And here comes a pitch from Barr. Going to be off of Barr's card. 22 against the right-hander. It's going to be a single into right field and a possible error. So in right field for the Giants is Bobby Mercer, who is a 3, and he commits the error. So error check, and outfield error is going to be an error 3. So on the single 9, bad throw to lead base. Any runners advance 2 bases, E9. So Kingman single and gets into second on the error. First error of the ball game. And Ed Cranepool will be the batter. Runner in scoring position once again. And Barr now up to 8 with his fatigue. He's got a total of 14. Here comes a pitch to Cranepool, and 6 going to come off of Barr's card. 28 against the left-hander, and 28 is going to be a single into right field as well. So Kingman looking to score the game's first run. He is a B. And 31, second to home. Off a single, and he's going to get in there easily. So we have a score. As Ed Cranepool drives in Dave Kingman, and our first run of the game, Mets take a 1-0 lead. And that puts Barr at 10 now. He has 4 spots left, and he'll have to be relieved. And ready in the bullpen today for the Mets, the first 2 up would be Bob Apodaca or Bob Myrick. So Unser gets the pitch, and 62 coming off of Unser's card. And LN, that's going to be a fly ball to shallow center field. Runner on first holds, 1 down. As Barr again looking to get out of trouble. He's been in trouble most of the game. 6 and 58 off of Barr's card. That's going to be an out, but a potential error check, as that'll be a ground ball down to second base. And at second base, Darryl Thomas is a 6 and makes a play, and that's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. But the Mets break through in the 6th inning with a couple of hits and a run. We head to the bottom of the inning. Seaver and the Mets lead this 1-0. And leading it off for the Giants will be Larry Herndon. Herndon has grounded out twice to pitcher and catcher. And coming off of Seaver's card, here comes pitch. Ground ball down to shortstop, and Harrelson whips that across the diamond to Cranepool, 1 away. Darryl Thomas the batter. And Thomas a slick fielding second baseman. Good range at least. And 6, that's going to be off of Seaver's card 18 against the left-hander, and that's a swing and a miss to Seaver. And that is his 4th strikeout of the game. So Thomas heads back to the bench muttering. Seaver facing Bobby Mercer. Lefty-righty matchup, and coming off of Mercer's card 18, and 18 is going to be a double as Mercer drives that into center field off the wall. We have doubles galore in this game. So the Giants have a 2-out threat. Mercer on second base. It's going to be up to Gary Matthews to get him in. Matthews today has singled and grounded out to shortstop. Here comes a pitch from Seaver, and 9 off of Matthews' card. 17 against the right-hander. That's going to be a single. And Mercer with 2 outs. He will be a B. And 31 on a single to the outfield. Mercer's going to score, and we are tied. So a 2-out double followed by a single by Gary Matthews has got the Giants on the board, and we are tied at 1 here as Willie Montanez steps up. Montanez has doubled, grounded out to third today. Here comes a pitch. And off of Montanez's card against the right-hander, 44, and Montanez ropes that down the line, and having trouble getting to that in right field is Kingman. Again, not a slick fielder, and coming all the way around to score will be Gary Matthews. Montanez going for third, head first slide, and he is in there ahead of the tag. So 3 straight hits with 2 outs, and the Giants have taken a 2-1 lead in this one. The triple by Montanez. And Seaver struggling for the first time in this game. 3 straight hits given up. Chris Spire is going to be the batter for the Giants. Looking to get out of this. Seaver coming off of his card, and 48 versus the right-hander, and that is going to be a walk. So Tom Terrific has turned into anything but here in the 6th inning as Ken Reitz will look to keep this rally going. 4 straight Giants have reached base after Seaver retired the first 2. And 7 coming off of Reitz's card, 32, and Reitz, he gets a hold of that, and that's into the gap in left center. That's going to be a double, and Spire going to try and score from first base. 25 on a C, and he is in there, so a 2-run double, and that's going to get some action up in the Mets bullpen as now 5 straight Giants have reached base successfully. And that is a 2 RBI double by Reitz. And Seaver is now up to 12 on his fatigue. So up for the Mets, the left-hander Bob Myrick is starting to warm up. And that's going to bring out Dave Rader. Rader looking to keep this 2-out lightning going. Seaver's got to get his composure. Here comes a pitch. 4 off of Seaver's card. 32 against the left-hander, and he rings him up. Swing and a miss. So finally the bleeding is stopped. But the Giants come up with 4 runs on 4 hits. They leave 1 and take a 4-1 lead as we head into the top of the 7th inning. And that was a terrible inning for Seaver and the Mets. Warming up in the Giants bullpen in anticipation of coming in for the save, it'll be Randy Moffett. And Moffett, he is actually the younger brother of tennis star Billie Jean King, or Billie Jean Moffett King. One of 2 interesting bullpen stories for the Giants, besides Moffat's relation, John D'Acquisto. I remember, and this was in the 70s, he actually appeared on a game show in the 70s, and I forget which one it was, but they did introduce him as pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. And just funny to believe that back then, again, baseball players, this was not a job that, for most of them, paid well enough not to have other functions during the off season. So D'Acquisto, appearing on a game show to try and get a little bit of extra money. As 17, this is going to come off of Jerry Grote's card, and that's going to be a single into center field and a potential error. And in center field for the Giants, Larry Herndon is a 3, and that's going to be yet another error. So Herndon Single 8, and let's see what type of error. That's going to be a 4. So error 4 in the outfield. Single, misplaced ball. Runners take an extra base, batter to first. So fortunately, that is the first batter of the inning. So Grody, no error will be charged on that as he stays at first base. And Tom Seaver is going to have his day come to an end. And while we replace Seaver to finish the story on D'Acquisto, he actually ran afoul of the law in 1995, was convicted of trying to pass off a fraudulent $200 million check, sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. Had some other issues that came up after that, and he actually is still fighting to clear his name. He maintains his innocence in this and indicates court documents would prove that. And also in 1995, D'Acquisto also appeared in a baseball movie, the title of which slips my mind, but I do know it happened. So wrapping it up for Seaver, again, he pitched brilliantly for 5 innings in this, and then the Giants got to him in the 6th. So he goes 6 innings, gives up 6 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. No 1 walk, sorry, 2 walks actually, and ends up with 5 strikeouts. And he is on the hook to lose this. So the new pitcher for the Mets will be the southpaw Bob Myrick, and pinch hitting will be Joe Torre. And getting everything aligned here. So Joe Torre, 1 on and nobody out, and he will be the pinch hitter for Seaver, who struck out in both of his plate appearances. So Barr gets a sign, and Barr up to 11 now on his, actually 12 on his fatigue. So he's got 2 more, either 2 more innings or 2 more base runners. Here comes a pitch, 67 off of Barr's card. That's going to be a potential error as Torre be a ground ball down to second base, and that will be a fielder's choice if played correctly. Felix Millan is a 4. And going to make the play, and that's going to retire Grody 4-6, and on at first base, Joe Torre will be the runner. And actually we'll leave him there so I know to pinch it again if he does get to hit. So back to the top of the order, 1 down, Bud Harrelson up. And Harrelson, he is 0 for 3 in this one, 3 ground outs. Pitch from Barr, and coming off of Barr's card, that's going to be a 27 against the left-hander, and 27 is going to be a single into right field. And runner advancement, Torre is a D. So first, third on single to right, and a roll of 25, and Torre is going to make it over to third base. So runners at the corners for the Mets. And Barr, Randy Moffat's going to come in if Barr gives up another base runner, allows another base runner. Felix Millan, the batter. Here comes a pitch, 5 off of Barr's card, 56 against the right-hander will be an out. And Barr looking to get out of this as Millan ground ball down to first base, but unfortunately that's going to move the runners up. Coming in to score is Torre, and lead is cut 4-2 as Millan is erased, 3-1 on the putout. And that is going to put Barr at his fatigue point. So that'll be another reduction for Barr. He goes down to 2-6 and 2-4 versus right-handers now. And Milner is a left-hander, so he's going to try and, he's due to lead off the next inning. He's going to try and get out of the inning. 2 away, 1 run in. Here comes a pitch to Milner. And 7 going to be off of Milner's card. 32 against the right-hander. And Milner takes it deep. And in Candlestick Park, 11-51 is going to be a home run. We go off the fast action card, and it is 17, and it is gone. Breakout Led Zeppelin. Milner puts out on the Stairway to Heaven, and that is a 3-run shot. I'm sorry, 2-run shot, and we are tied. So coming in to score is Bud Harrelson, and Milner gets into all of that one. So 2 outs, bases are cleared, and that, well, they're going to leave Barr in to pitch. They do not want to bring in a reliever and then have to pinch it again. So we're all tied up as 3 runs in for the Mets in this inning. Here comes a pitch to Dave Kingman, and 3. That is going to be just off of Barr's card. He needed that low number. 54 against the right-hander is going to be an out as Kingman fly ball into center field, and Larry Herndon takes care of that. Routine play, but the damage is done. A 2-run blast by John Milner ties this one up as the Mets come up with 3 hits and 3 runs. So 7th inning stretch time, and it is 4-4, and Jim Barr is going to be pinch hit for. Randy Moffett will be the Giants' new pincher. And pinch hitter Gary Thomason. So Barr looked like he was in line to get the win, and not going to happen now. He will get a no decision as he goes 7 innings. Gives up 9 hits, 4 runs. Definitely wasn't sharp today. Walked. Walked 1 and struck out 7. And gave up a huge home run. So Randy Moffett in a tie ball game, and Gary Thomason, the pinch hitter, faced Bob Myrick, the lefty. Here comes the pitch from Myrick, and Myrick is a 2-4 against left-handers, so that's why you see a left-hander pinch hitting. It's going to be an out, however, as Thomason grounds that down to second base, 1 away. So 4-3 on the putout, and back to the top of the order for the Giants. Larry Herndon up. Herndon today had a quiet afternoon, 3 groundouts. Here comes a pitch from Myrick, and going to come off of Myrick's card, 26 against the right hand. That's going to be a single as he pokes that into right field. So Myrick, his first fatigue point, as Herndon is on with his first hit of the game. And Herndon, he is a B- stealer. He's going to actually try and steal here. So B-, he needs a roll of 11 to 18 to be safe. We're going to go for it. Here comes a pitch, and he goes 45, and 45, he is gunned down. Error check. No error check, and poor decision by me. 2 outs, and Daryl Thomas now questioning the 1-out steal there. Here comes a pitch, 9, going to be off of Thomas's card, and 33 is going to be a walk. So that could come back and be impactful as runner on first base for Bobby Mercer, 2 down. Comes a pitch from Myrick, and 8, it's going to be off of Mercer's card, and Mercer takes a big rip at that, checks his swing, however, and he's going to draw another base on balls, so that would have loaded the bases if Herndon had not been caught stealing. And Myrick now has a total of 3 fatigue points. He can go 5. Here comes a pitch from Myrick, and 33 going to be off of his card against the right-hander, and that is going to be another walk. So that would have walked in a run. So an extremely poor job of managing by yours truly. And that's going to get up a another pitcher in the Mets pen, and Bob Apodaca is now loosening up furiously as Gary Matthews only One swing away from putting the Giants back in the lead. Here comes a pitch, and 11 off of Matthews' card, 57 against the left-hander, and he's going to get another walk. Are you kidding me? 4 walks in a row, and that brings in a run. Easiest RBI you will ever get. I'm sorry, that was actually, you know what, that was Willie Montanez. And that is a different story. That's going to be an out. So strike that, as glad I caught that. Montanez and pop fly into foul territory, and first baseman over there, Ed Kranepool, is going to take care of that. So F3. So 1 hit, and the Giants leave the bases loaded here in the 7th inning, and Myrick going to get to come out. Well, he'll be replaced because he would lose his fatigue anyway, or be fatigued. So Myrick is only going to go an inning, gives up a single hit, no runs, fortunately for him, but does walk 3. And Apodaca is going to be the next pitcher for the Mets. All right, so leading it off in the top of the 8th as a game going along at a furious pace the first 5 innings is slowed down now. Randy Moffett still on the hill facing Ed Kranepool, and 21 off of Moffat's card, and that's going to be a single right back up the middle. So Kranepool starts the 8th off for the Mets in good form. And Moffitt has a fatigue rating of 5. He's in good shape thus far. Just in case, in the Giants bullpen is Gary Lavelle, one of the lefty combination of their lefty-righty closer combo. 2 going to come off of Moffitt's card, and 35 against the left-hander, and that is going to be a potential wild pitch. And no, so will be an out. And Del Unser, ground ball down to second base. That's going to move the runner up. So 4-3 on the putout. And standing at second base is Ed Kranepool, as Wayne Garrett will be the batter. Another lefty or righty-lefty matchup here. And here comes a pitch from Moffitt off of Garrett's card, 77. And Garrett, ground ball down to shortstop. And that's going to be a 6-3 putout. Runner on second hold. So 2 down. And Jerry Grody. Grody followed by the pitcher spot, and they love Grody to get on base here. 9, that'll be off of Grody's card. 45 against the right-hander, and he's going to get plunked. So they get their wish, and that brings up the pitcher spot. And we are going to have another pinch hitter, and this will be Bruce Boisclair. And that worked out good for the Mets. So Boisclair up, and Moffitt looking to get out of this jam. Gets a sign. Here comes the pitch. Wrong die there, and 12, that's a potential error. So 54 and 12 off of Boisclair's card against the right-hander, and 54 is going to be a strikeout. So Moffitt comes up big on that, and that gets him out of the inning. So the Mets get a hit and have a hit batter. Leave 1 as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. We are still all tied up at 4. And new pitcher for the Mets is Bob Apodaca. After a very unsuccessful 7th inning from Bob Myrick. And leading it off for the Giants will be Chris Spire. Oops. And Apodaca, 2-6 and 4-7. This is going to come off of his card. And 25 against the right-hander. That's going to be a strikeout. Would have been an error check otherwise. Next batter, Ken Reitz. And Reitz had a big 2-run double back in the 6th inning. Here comes a pitch from Apodaca for off of his card against the right-hander. Swing and a miss there, so 2 strikeouts for Apodaca to start the 8th inning. That brings up the Giants catcher, Dave Rader. And the pitch, and 43, Rader against the right-hander, and that's going to be an out. A ground ball down to shortstop, so 3 up, 3 down go the Giants. We're heading to the last frame. We're still tied at 4 apiece and facing free baseball. So we'll have a new Mets pitcher as Apodaca. Oh, never mind, he'll go in. Actually, Randy Moffett is going to come out. Well, you know what? He's at a 4. He can give him base runner, so we'll let him stay put. Bud Harrelson, the batter, and 8, and that'll be off of Moffitt's card, actually, as Harrelson is switch hitter. That'll be an out. And fly ball to second base and circling back into the outfield to put that away is Darryl Thomas, 1 down. Moffitt gets a sign, pitches to Felix Millan off of Millan's card, and that's going to be a single into left field, so Millan. And Moffitt is now at his fatigue point, and there's going to be a change for the Giants. So Moffitt ends up going an inning and a third. And he gave up 2 hits, hit a batter. No runs. He is responsible for the runner on base. Had a single strikeout. And coming in for the Giants is going to be Gary Lavelle. And again, the left-handed portion of that 2-headed monster that the Giants used for closers in 1976. And he's going to face another left-handed hitter in John Milner. Lavelle, 4-7 and 2-8 against lefties and righties, respectively. So actually does better against righties. Here comes a pitch to Milner. And 4, that's going to be off Lavelle's card, 52, and that's going to be a walk. So wildness is, looks like it might be the factor here as runners on first and second for the Mets, top of the 9th. Dave Kingman up, and Kingman, ID Gesture, what's up, buddy? How are you doing? And Al, Red Sox fan. Probably missed you guys in the chat earlier. Sorry if I did. I just got involved in this game, but hope you all are doing well. And here comes a pitch, Lavelle. And coming off of Lavelle's card, 12, and that, the right-hander, is going to be a single to left field for Kingman, and that could get in the go-ahead run. Milner is a C, 36, and single off of the pitcher's card, 36. And Milner is going to score ahead of the tag, and Rader cannot get it down, so we have a go-ahead run. And that was actually Felix Millan, and over to third goes John Miller. So Dave Kingman comes up huge with the RBI single here in the top of the 9th inning. And Lavelle, not the outcome that was wanted, as it's still only 1 down. Runners on the corners. Ed Kranepool, the batter. And here comes a pitch, and 17 to the left-hander. Swing and a miss. So Lavelle comes up big there, 2 down. Runner still at the corner for Del Unser. And getting ready to come on for the Mets will be their closer, Skip Lockwood. Here comes a pitch, and 9 off of Unser's card. 63 is going to be an out. And that's going to retire the side. Ground ball down to third base. But the Giants get a couple of hits and a walk and get the go-ahead run across as we head to the last inning. Bottom of the 9th, 5-4. Mets with the lead, and First up for the Giants will be the pitcher spot. So we're going to have Von Joshua come up and pinch hit. And a new pitcher for the Mets will be Skip Lockwood. All right, so we'll sort everything out here as Lavelle is done. And Bob Apodaca had a scoreless inning, struck out 2. No hits, no walks. So it'll be up to Lockwood to close this down as Von Joshua steps in. And I'm going to let Joshua hit. All right, here comes a pitch. 3 outs away. As I do gesture, I am separate. All you do is separate cards, bro. Hey, Al and BBG, can you do our baseball preview show on Sunday night about 8? That would be 5 o'clock Pacific time, correct? If so, yes, I can do that. That's not a problem. All right, Lockwood to Joshua, looking to get out of this, and Lockwood is 2-7 against lefties, 4-7 against righties. This is going to come off of Lockwood's card, and 62. And 62 is going to be a walk. So the pitchers in this game, the wildness has been mortifying at times. So Joshua on and back to the top of the order. Larry Herndon up and looking to bring the Giants even or get a walk-off win. Lockwood gets a sign. Righty-righty matchup. Here comes a pitch off of Herndon's card. That's going to be an out. Actually, that'll be a clutch defense check. And 85 does not bode well for that. Clutch defense RN, and that is going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. And I can tell you right now that that will come off of the B column and G6. Going to be a single into center field. Runners advance 1 base. So the Giants are in business here. Nobody out. Runners on first and second. And Lockwood in trouble. Darryl Thomas the batter. Here comes a pitch. And 4 off of Lockwood's card. 15 against the switch hitting Thomas, who's hitting left-handed. And that's going to be a single into left. And are we going to have a tie game? No, we're not. As they're going to hold Joshua at third base. But nobody's out. Bases are loaded. And this is Lockwood's to win or lose. Nobody in the Mets bullpen, and brief conference on the mound. Take a miracle for Lockwood to get out of this. Looking for the walk-off. 77 coming off of Mercer's card, and Mercer, left-handed power hitter, and he grounds that down to shortstop, and bases loaded. Let's see, and infield was back. I should have had the infield in. Can't do that retroactively. And that is going to be... Okay, choice here. So we're going to come home for the force. So 6-2, bases remain loaded. 1 out now. Fielder's choice for Mercer. And that'll bring up Gary Matthews. Yeah, just send me, IDJ, just send me an invite there, and I'll be sure to make it Sunday, which is 5 o'clock my time. I will make a note. So 4, Lockwood, and coming off of his card, 47 against the right-handed hitter, and 47, swing and a miss. So Lockwood, he's on the verge of pulling a Houdini here. 2 outs now, as Willie Montanez will be the batter. And the left-handed hitting Montanez, he's had a good game so far. Here comes a pitch coming off of Montanez's card. 42, and Montanez swings and ground ball down to first base, and picking that up is Crane Poole. He's going to take it to the bag himself, and side is retired. So somehow, Skip Lockwood, bases loaded, nobody out, gets a forced play at home, then strikes out Gary Matthews and induces a game-ending ground out from Willie Montanez, and the Mets escape with a 5-4 win. So in the last inning, a couple of hits for the Mets and a walk, or the Giants, I should say, sorry. And unable to do anything with that. And so our final line score for the Mets, five runs, 12 hits, no errors. And the Giants, 4 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. So that's going to do it. The Mets win. The Mets win, and Skip Lockwood, again doing his imitation of Houdini, escapes and saves the game. The win in this one, Seaver went 6 innings, and he left. It was tied. The win is going to go to Bob Apodaca. And the loser in this one will be Randy Moffat. So that is your game, folks. In real life, again, played 6-13-76. The Mets won 4-1. And this one, the Mets win again, but this time a little bit closer. And good game. Our player of the game, probably for the Mets, going to be John Milner. Milner had 2 hits, actually a double, a home run, 2 RBIs, run scored, and a walk, and that home run in the 7th was huge as that tied it up. So he's going to get our POG. So thanks for joining us, and be sure to tune in Sunday. We're going to have the and this will be Sunday morning. We're going to have the Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson, Glory Days Boxing Heavyweight Championship fight. And Al, if you're still here, check your email, buddy. I have a PDF that I sent you that relates to Glory Days Boxing. So we're going to have that championship fight, and after that fight, we will finally make the announcement of who will be distributing Glory Days Boxing and talk a little bit about what the game will include, when it will be released, etc., etc. So tune in for that. And until then, thanks everybody for watching. And again, having a lot of fun with Status Pro Advanced. Sometimes some differences are a little bit hard to get used to, but overall enjoying the game a lot. And thanks for the support. Thanks for watching.